you know.
Okay, so it's all this recording. All right, Louis, you.
Yeah, let's hear about Moruga, please.
Okay.
You went down here yesterday, Carl?
Oh yeah, 2 days ago actually is when I went down to Moruga. I know Moruga always evoke those fun memories. Like I told you, when I grew up, I had 3 brothers and 2 sisters. So my father worked in the oil field up in Guayari. My mother stayed at home.
Housewife,
But
all of them.
yes, but it was always, Moruga was always an adventure. Because where I lived was a little street we used to call the block. That before I knew what blocks were. We had this little street we called the block. So I had like 4 families, like 20 kids up in there.
Wow, that would have been fun.
So everybody everybody was unique in their own way. Like I told you, and in our house we had like a 2-bedroom house. So when you have a 2-bedroom house, 1 bedroom was for your parents, and the other bedroom was for the siblings, you and your siblings. So imagine, I said there were 7 of us, but there were 6 of us living at home. Wow. So imagine you had 1 bed, and you didn't sleep lengthways like on a regular bed. You slept crossways. You had all these people on this bed, but we also had a crib. Now I'm remembering, I'm like 10 years old, and I'm sleeping in this crib. I tell you, I couldn't stretch my leg. I sleep in like a potato roti. I fold up. Just how you went to bed is just how you get up. Now, every now and then you get to sleep on the bed. And brothers and sisters, everybody on that bed. And my brother used to pee the bed. So what you do is you get... My brother used to pee bed. So in the morning when you wake up, if you were closest to him on both sides, everybody was wet.
Oh, geez.
Everybody.
Pee the bed.
But my brother didn't pee the bed. No. It's a fiber mattress, so fiber mattress, they're heavy. Them fiber mattress, I don't know, back then you were young. And them fiber mattress probably weighed like 300 pounds the way it was. And you lay on that bed. You lay on that bed, like I told Lance before. It was like acupuncture. Anyhow you turn, them fiber chucking you. Chucking in your back. You get up in the morning and you're relaxed.
Of course, no wonder why you're so
you're well punctured.
Yeah, because you get acupuncture. You get up, but it's not just acupuncture. You get up in the morning now and you have to hang out the bedding because your brother doesn't pee the bed.
And it could be the brothers, huh?
Yeah. And then the one thing I remember, my mother used to call me Sugar. I guess she think I was a sweet little kid. I don't know. No, I was like the 3rd to last.
But he is the favorite child.
But she used to call me Sugar. Like my father used to work Guayari, so like to ease up space sometimes when my father going to work early in the morning, he said, Sugar, come and lay down in the bed with me. So I used to go and lay down with my mother in her bed. But yeah. But so I remember my uncle played mass one year. And my brother, I think he was like cowboys and Indians. So he had this wooden gun. I remember the gun was painted black and white. So my brother and his friends went up to pick mango. And when they went to pick mango, they hear somebody up in the bush. So they're scared now. So what my brother did, they came back and they get this wooden gun. And they would go, pow! And they'd pelt orange. they had like a whole bucket of green orange, and every time they go pow, they would pelt the orange, like they're firing, like the gun is actually firing orange. But we didn't know any better.
No, it was really fun. What was fun for school children was that for Crapo for children.
Yeah, but the other thing too was, everybody was the same. Nobody was better than anybody else. You went to school. This is probably personal, But I mean, I was like 13 years old. I didn't wear we didn't have underwear. We just had straight pants.
So you went commando.
Well, commando, tubeless, whatever you want to call it. But we went. That's how we went to school.
It's true.
And I remember one day we were playing raisin, raisin with football in the schoolyard. And I'm like 13 years old and I went to kick that ball.
Of course.
And my pants tear. So could you imagine me trying to hold on to my belongings? Hold on to my belongings. At the same time, I feel like I'm getting put out. But it's not only that. Because the beach was next to the school. And it so happened that, back then in the old days, we had spelling. So the teacher would put them 10 words on the board. You sit down in the class, you learn the words, and then you went up to the teacher and you spelled the words, and then he got them right. I remember one day I went on the beach. There was this log on the beach. And I played on the log because the beach was the playground.
Yeah.
And I fall down in the water. I tell you, I wet like a puppy, eh? And that's the day the teacher decided to give us spelling. So I'm scared now to go up now. I mean, I'm sitting in the classroom in the back. I'm thinking, I ain't going up. I'm waiting till this bell ring. I ain't going up to spell no word because he gonna see me wet. And now when I get curtailed. But that's not the bad thing. My brother saying, okay, we grew up in the country. It wasn't rich, so when he had meat, especially pigtail, that was a treat.
Yeah.
So my brother threatening me now. He say, if you don't give me your meat, I will tell mommy you went in the sea and fall down in the water.
No, that's a part of the pigtail.
So now I'm being blackmailed too.
What's blackmailing that
But you all had nice shoes and things to go to
Nice
school?
shoes?
Nice shoe, no?
Boy, I tell you, you're barefooted, your toes spread out like a coverlet. But the only thing was this, I mean, if you had a shoes, I remember one time my mother went to Princess and buy me some brown, what we used to call washington.
They had brown ones?
Yeah, brown ones.
Oh, they brown ones in Richie-Gacas.
Yeah. But she went Princess Town to get these shoes.
Yeah.
But Princess Town, when your mother go Princess Town, I mean, that was like once in a lifetime. Except it's like going to buy school books. And the next time she probably go to Princess Town was to buy Christmas curtains.
Oh boy.
So she buy me these shoes and bring it back. I'm happy. I have new shoes. I'm going to school with new shoes. For once, I ain't going to school barefooted because when you went to school barefooted, that pitch was so hot. Sometimes you come in from school at 3:30, school over, and you step in that tar spot. You jump like 3 feet up in the air because that thing was so hot. So you had to walk in the drain. When the people clean the drain, you walk in the drain coming home, and you might find a beer bottle, and you stop at the shop and you give the man the beer bottle, he give you a penny, and you buy like 6 Paradise Plum.
I love that. You share that with your brothers, eh?
Yeah, you share your Paradise Plum. But anyway, my mother went and bought these shoes, and I put the shoes on, and the shoes too tight. But it's two things. If they were too big, they stuffed them with newspaper for you to go to school.
Right.
Now, if they were too small, what they did, they cut a hole because usually a little toe be the one that's getting squeezed.
Yeah.
So they cut the shoes, and there is your toe sticking out because they didn't have time to take that shoes back. So your toe sticking out for school, for church, for the fair. Your toe is just outside.
Like Sunday best.
Sunday best. When you go to church, you had a white shirt in, and you smell like a camphor ball. Because they used to put the white shirt. They used to put the white shirt in the drawer. The only time you wear put the white shirt, and you're looking pretty, but you're barefoot. You're barefoot going to school, eh? And not just that, you're barefoot, but your foot shiny. They always tell you, look at you, boy, like you're working in the oil field. Because your foot greasy. But not just greasy because, if you all know Trinidad, when it get kind of cool, we'll say the oil went to sleep. So you had to take the bottle of oil, put it in the fire because we didn't have a stove, we had a fireside. But the old Indian lady, she was cooking hot roti on the fireside, so you stick the bottle of oil in the fireside to wake it up.
Yeah.
So you wake it up so you can grease your foot to go to school. I tell you, I wonder cat wasn't licking my foot going to school.
let me ask you one more thing. How did you find Moruga after all these years of being away?
I think it's improved. You know, the old wooden buildings we knew are now concrete structures. But for me, although it's improved, I always see Moruga with the time that I lived there. With all these little poor kids, and like I say, everybody had a lot of children, because back then you think children were the richest. You think that of them 20 children you had, one of them would come out to be something and be able to help everybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but we also had this guy called Pachagray. Pachagray, because he was young, he was like 14, 15 years old. He had gray hair. But he was he lived with his grandparents, Miss Agneta and Mr. Philogen. Pachagray, I don't know what come into Pachagray. Mr. Philogen used to work in the oil field. Pachagray go and find Mr. Philogen's shoes. And brand new shoes. The man cut out the tongue of the shoes to make slingshot.
Oh, jeez.
He cut out the man's shoes to make slingshot. But he didn't stop there. If you know cuts, when you play basically you're playing pitch. Playing pitch for button.
Yes, sir.
He cut all the button off the grandfather uniform.
Oh, jeez.
And come to play pitch. But he didn't play pitch, he lost too.
So you can't even carry back.
So he can't carry back. Now in the evening, Mr. Philogen come, he getting dressed to go to work and he had no button on his shirt. So he had Pachagray and go and tell him, well, you know, I lost it, Carl and them win. So now he come into the house to get back his button.
That is so sweet.
But,
That was good boy news.
but it was poor. Everybody was poor. I mean, we didn't have no. I remember, like for Christmas, my mother would buy a ball because there were like 6 of us. So if she buy the ball, everybody have a chance to play with it.
That's right.
And I remember one day I get a pen. She bought this ball this Christmas. I got a pen. I put the pen in the ground and I bounced the ball on the pen. The pen fall down to the side. I didn't learn anything from that. I put the pen back up.
You thought the pen was to play with the ball?
No, I want, you know, you're young, you're experimenting.
Yeah.
You want to bust the ball? So I put the pen back down and I bounced the ball and I heard all the air, the ball puncture. And my brother go and tell my mother, he just bust the ball. And you know what I cut tail right there? Cut tail. Oh, I tell you, when I was young, I always thought, I used to say, you know, when I get old, I'm buying a tin of cream and a pound of sugar, and I'm mixing it and I'm eating sugar and milk all day. I ain't buying nothing else. So one day, my mother, I look in the kitchen. I look in the kitchen and I see this frico pan. But this frico pan had something white in it. So what I do, I went, my mother told me to get dirt because you know Lipe. They said Lipe the kitchen and all that stuff. My mother told me to get dirt, so I said, well, this is my chance. I get some of that white stuff from that can and I get some sugar and I mix it together and I hide it by the little thing I went and get the dirt from. Going to school, I pick up my little piece of paper with my little mixture and I go into school, but it was raining that day and every time I take a bite, my belly starts hurting. My belly hurting, like what's going on with this thing? So I end up eventually, I eat some and then I throw the rest down the river. Because it was raining that day in the drain. And Saturday my mother say, Carl, bring me the starch in the frico pan.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't realize that I was eating starch It's all like Frico. It was starch in the can. I was eating Frico and starch and milk.
Oh, Jesus.
That's why my stomach was hurting.
Yes, they're lucky they covered up.
I said I could iron my inside when you get done.
Oh, gee whiz. But boy, I tell you the truth, this has been a wonderful experience. Louis girl? Aline girl?
I have been stitches for you.
Yeah. So you know, you recognize where we are? We're in Mount here.
Okay, I think this is
Mount Hope, we're heading down to Mount Lambert area on the left ahead of us.
Aline, I used to live in Barataria.
yeah.
Oh, that's much lower.
Well, Carl boy, thanks a lot. This has been a wonderful journey so far.
Better than